what is a significant learning that you've had as a result of a painful misstep?
Oh God. When you have so many, they all start to blur together. Yes.
Yes, I know that.
Oh, it's really hard to say. I guess one that stands out, like I said, I mean, as when you grow a business, you have more failures than successes, and that's you have your successes because of your failures. So it is really hard to pick. I'd say with regard to growing a business, a big thing that I learned, a misstep, if you will. So when we first started, it was just me and my dad, right? And so none of us had college experience, business experience. My dad was a mechanic and stunt man. I was a stunt man, barely a mechanic, at that
Yeah, yeah.
point. And so, but once I got, some knowledge underneath me and stuff like that, and we decided to start growing the business. We thought, okay, well, it's better to bring on people who are green and teach them exactly how we do things, right? So there's no bad habits to break, and then we can grow them into the positions as we grow the business. So that's what we did. We brought on three people eventually, three people, taught them from the ground up. Right, one guy was from two guys were from the bank, our bank, where we
Okay.
recruited, and to be mechanics, and so we taught them, and then another guy had come from somewhere else. He didn't last with us long, but anyway, long story short is we made the mistake of, as we were growing, thinking that those base members of the Windy City team were going to be pivotal in the growth of the company. And it was because I wanted them to be, right? It's because we were at this point in the business where, okay, I was able to teach so and so how to do this, exactly how we did it, but the problem is they didn't have any of the other skill sets that demanded, a growing company, right? That a growing company demanded.
Yeah.
Um, so I forced them into positions that they weren't necessarily equipped to do,
Yeah.
right? As we grew, I made one of them a supervisor. Well, he didn't last 3 months before,
Yeah.
before, it didn't work out. And then I was in a position, right, where I had to say, okay, well, I gave you more money to be a supervisor. So now I'm either going to have to take money away and take away your supervisor position, or you're going to have to leave. Either way,
Not
Jesse,
good.
you lose.
Yes. Yes.
Either way, you lose. So, and so that happened actually, with the core five people in Windy City, the first five, and my dad and I included. My dad and I are the only ones left, um, and we're at 62 people now,
Ooh,
something
baby.
something like
Yeah.
that. Uh, but that was a huge uh, learning moment
Yeah.
for me, because, and look, I'm a slow learner, guys. I I really am. It's not the last time I did that. Each
Right.
circumstance was a little bit different, but I thought I justified it enough, and I didn't,
Yeah.
and so, those types of things. I guess the to clarify the lesson is, don't force people into positions or roles that you want for them unless you're sure they want it,
Oh
right?
God. Yeah, 100%. Yes, I've done. There's a story I like to share. David Olguin, he was a plumbing apprentice. I got to work with him. I was working in a mechanical room, and I just knew it's like this guy, I'm gonna do something with him. And I decided he was gonna win the craft championship, and he was gonna be a foreman. And like I made all these decisions for him. About a year and a half, 2 years later, he quit to go work for the school district. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you're not, like, the school district doesn't pay what you can be making, what you're making now. And he straight told me, he's like, Jess, I love that you're pouring into me and I love being your friend, but man, it really sucks being your friend because you're putting all, like, it's the pressure. You put too much pressure on me and I don't want those things. I'm like, oh my God, like it just like a slap in my face. And I was early into the foreman role, and I same thing, repeated it several times where I have a vision for somebody, but if I don't get their permission, it doesn't matter. Like
Yeah.
it just straight don't matter. Man, thank you for that. So I'm not alone. Thank you, Josh. I'm not
No,
alone.
no, it's definitely, you want what's best for people, but you got to first admit that you don't know what they consider is best, and that's, you know, and
Yes.
that's hard, right? Because you're working off your own moral compass and your own values, and you know, it makes it tough, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And we can't impose that on people. I've worked with many amazing leaders, and some I see get judgy or critical of people that don't want to take the next step. And like, what's wrong with them? What don't they want better for themselves? And I'm like, well, time out. Like, you and I are workaholics, and like we live and breathe this job. They don't. Did you know that that guy runs a nonprofit where they do toy drives and food drives for the low income part of our city, and that's what he spends his time doing on the evenings and the weekends? Like, no, really? I was like, yeah. That's why he doesn't want the extra responsibility because it's going to take him away from that, and our community needs that. So we got to be responsible to your point, Josh, and what we want for people, we're not them.
Right, right.
We're not them, and we got to respect that. Oh man, beautiful stuff.